This is a work of fiction. Any resemblance to real events or persons is purely coincidental. This story is purely fictional and does not promote or encourage any form of violence. This is a work of fiction. Any resemblance to real events or persons is purely coincidental. This story is purely fictional and does not promote or encourage any form of violence. Severo tells me the story as he picks through the pockets of our prisoners after the battle. After Pax and I finished one another off, Roke sallied into the glen with Leah and my tribe. Mustang, a crafty girl, escaped into the castle and manages yet to hold it with 6 fighters. All the prisoners of Mars she captured won't be hers until she touches them with the tip of her standard. Fat chance. We have 11 of her men, and Roke digs up our standard to make them our slaves. We could besiege our own castle. There's no storming its high walls, but Ceres or the rest of Minerva could come at any time. If they do, Cassius is supposed to ride to give Ceres Minerva's standard. It also keeps him away while I cement my position as leader. Roke and Antonia come with me to negotiate with Mustang at the gate. I limp up and favor a cracked rib. It hurts to breathe. Roke takes a step back so that I am most prominent when we reach the gate itself. Antonia wrinkles her nose and eventually does the same. Mustang is bloody from the skirmish, and I can't find a smile on her pretty face. The Proctors have been watching all of this, she says scathingly. They've seen what happened in that place. Everything. It was done by Titus. Antonia drawls tiredly. And no one else? Mustang looks at me. The girls won't stop crying. No one died, Antonia says in annoyance. Weak as they are, they will repair themselves. Despite what happened, there's been no depletion of Golden's stock. The Golden stock, Mustang murmurs. How can you be so cold? Little girl, Antonia sighs. Gold is a cold metal. Mustang looks up at Antonia incredulously, then shakes her head. Mars, a gruesome deity. You're fit for this, aren't you, Lot? Barbarity, past centuries, dark ages. I don't have a mind to be lectured by an orate about morality. We would like you to leave the castle, I tell her. Do so with your men, and you may have those we captured. We won't turn them into slaves. Down the hill, Severo stands beside the captives with our standard in hand. He's tickling a disgruntled Pax with a horse hair. Mustang jams a finger into my face. This is a school. You realize that, yes? No matter the rules your house decides to play by. Be ruthless, all you gory well like, but there are limits. There are slagging limits to what you can do in this school, in the game. The more brutal you are, the more foolish you look to the proctors, to the adults who will know what you've done, what you're capable of doing. You think they want monsters to lead the society? Who would want a monster for an apprentice? I see a vision of Augustus watching my wife dangle, eyes dead as a pit viper's. A monster would want a student in his own image. They want visionaries, leaders of men, not reapers of them. There are limits, she continues. I snap. There are no goddamned limits. Mustang's jaw tightens. She understands how this will play out. In the end, giving us back our horrible castle won't cost her anything. Trying to keep it would. She might even end up like one of the girls in the high tower. She never thought of that before. I can tell she wants to leave. It's her sense of justice that is killing her. Somehow she thinks we should pay, that the proctors should come down and interfere. Most of the kids think that about this game. Hell, Cassius said it 100 times as we scouted together. But the game isn't like that, because life isn't like that. Gods don't come down in life to mete out justice. The powerful do it. That's what they are teaching us. Not only the pain in gaining power, but the desperation that comes from not having it. The desperation that comes when you are not a gold. We will keep the series slaves, Mustang demands. Now they are ours, I drawl, and we will do with them what we like. She watches me for a long moment, thinking. Then we get Titus. No, Mustang snaps. We will keep Titus, or there are no terms. You will keep no one. She's not used to being told no. I want assurances they are safe. I want Titus to pay. It doesn't matter a flying piss what you want. Here you get what you take. That's part of the lesson plan. I pull out my sling blade and set its tip into the soil. Titus is of House Mars. He is ours, so please try and take him. He'll be brought to justice, Roke says to Mustang to reassure her. I turn to him, eyes blazing. Shut up! He looks down, knowing he should not have spoken. It doesn't matter. Mustang's eyes don't look to Antonia or Roke. They don't look down the slope where Leah and Scipio have her war band on their knees in the glen, and Thistle sits on Pax's back, with Weed taking her turn tickling him now. Her eyes don't look at the blade. They're only for me. I lean in. If Titus raped a little girl who happened to be a red, how would you feel? I ask. She doesn't know how to answer. The law does. Nothing would happen. It isn't rape unless she wears the sigil of an elder house like Augustus. Even then, the crime is against her master. Now look around, I say quietly. There are no golds here. I'm a red. You're a red. We are all reds, till one of us gets enough power. Then we get rights. Then we make our own law. I lean back and raise my voice. That is the point of all this, to make you terrified of a world where you do not rule. Security and justice aren't given. They are made by the strong. You should hope that is not true, Mustang says quietly to me. Why? Because there is a boy here like you. Her face takes on a gloomy aspect, as though she regrets what she must say. My proctor calls him the Jackal. He is smarter and crueler and stronger than you, and he will win this game and make us his slaves if the rest of us go about acting like animals. Her eyes implore me. So please, hurry up and evolve. Chapter 28. My brother. I pretend the matches came from one of the Minervans when I light our first fire inside Castle Mars. June is fetched from her makeshift prison, and soon she has prepared us a feast from the meat of goats and sheep, and herbs gathered by my tribe. My tribe pretends it's the first meal they've had in weeks. The others of the house are hungry enough to believe the lie. Minerva and her war band have long since slunk on home. What now? I ask Roke as the others eat in the square. The keep is a place of squalor still, and the light of the fire does nothing to illuminate the filth. Cassius has gone to see Quinn, so I am alone for the moment with Roke. Titus's tribe sits in quiet groups. The girls will not speak to the boys because of what they've seen some of them do. They all eat with their heads down. There's shame there. Antonia's people sit with mine and glare at Titus. Disgust fills their eyes. Betrayal, too, even as they fill their bellies. Several scuffles have already escalated from minor words to thrown fists. I thought the victory might bring them together, but it did not. The division is worse than ever, only now I cannot define it. And I think there is only one way to mend it. Roke doesn't have the answer I want to hear. The proctors aren't interfering because they want to see how and if we handle justice. Darrow, it is the deeper trait that this situation probes. How do we manage law? Brilliant, I say. So what? We're supposed to whip Titus, kill him. That would be law. Would it? Or would it just be vengeance? You're the poet. You figure it out. I kick a stone off the ramparts. He can't stay tied up in the cellars. You know this. We will never move on from this torpor if he does, and it has to be you who decides what to do with him. Not Cassius, I ask. I think he's earned a say. After all, he did claim him. I don't want Cassius to share leadership, but I don't want him to come out of the Institute without any prospects. I owe him. Claim him? Roke coughs. And how barbaric does that sound? So, Cassius should play no role. I love him like a brother. But no. Roke's narrow face tenses as he sets a hand on my arm. Cassius cannot lead this house, not after what happened. Titus's boys and girls might obey him, but they won't respect him. They won't think him stronger than them, even if he is. Darrow, they pissed on him. We are golds. We do not forget. He's right. I pull my hair in frustration and glare at Roke as though he were being difficult. You don't understand how much this means to Cassius. After Julian's death, he has to succeed. He cannot be remembered solely for what happened. He can't. Why do I care so much? Doesn't matter a flying piss how much it means to him. Roke echoes my words with a smile. His fingers are thin like hay on my bicep. They'll never fear him. Fear is necessary here, and Cassius knows it. Why else is he absent in victory? Antonia's not left my side. Pollux the gate opener hasn't either. They linger several meters away to associate with my power. Severo and Thistle watch them with sly grins. Is that why you're here too, you scheming weasel? I ask Roke. Sharing the glory? He shrugs and gnaws on the leg of mutton Leah brings him. Slag that. I'm here for the food. I find Titus in the cellar. The Minervans tied him and beat him bloody after they saw the slave girls in his tower. That's their justice. He smiles as I stand over him. How many of House Ceres did you kill in your raids? I ask. Suck my balls. He spits bloody phlegm. I dodge. I resist kicking him there, barely. Already got packs for the day. Titus has the gall to ask what has happened. I rule House Mars now. Outsourced your dirty work to the Minervans, eh? Didn't want to face me? Typical golden coward. I am afraid of him. I don't know why. Yet I bend on a knee and stare him in the eye. You are a pissing fool, Titus. You never evolved, never got past the first test. You thought this whole thing is about violence and killing. Idiot. It's about civilization, not war. To have an army, you must first have a civilization. You went straight to violence like they wanted us to. Why do you think they gave us of Mars nothing, and the other houses have so many resources? We're meant to fight like mad, but we're meant to burn out, like you did. But I beat that test. Now, I'm the hero, not the usurper, and you're just the ogre in the dungeon. Oh, huzzah, huzzah. He tries clapping his bound hands. I don't give a piss. How many did you kill? I ask. Not enough. He tilts his large head. His hair is greasy and dark with dirt, almost as though he's tried to black out the gold. He seems to like the dirt. It's under his fingernails, coats his burnished skin. I tried to bash their heads in, kill them before the medbots came, but they were always so fast. Why did you want to kill them? I don't understand what the point is. They are your own people. He smirks at this. You could have changed things, you bastard. His large eyes are calmer, sadder than I remember. He does not like himself, I realize. Something about him is too mournful. The pride I thought he had is not pride. It's just scorn. You say I'm cruel, but you had matches and iodine. Don't think I didn't know even before I smelled you. We starved and you used what you found to become leader. So do not lecture me on morality, you backstabbing piss-sucker. Then why didn't you do something about it? Pollux and Vixus were frightened of you. So the rest were too, and they thought Goblin would kill them in their sleep. What could I do if I was the only one who wasn't scared? Why aren't you? He laughs hard. You're just a boy with a sling blade. First I thought you were hard. Thought we saw things similarly. He licks a bloody lip. Thought you were like me. Only worse because of that coldness in your eyes. But you're not cold. You care about these piss pricks. My eyebrows pinched together. How's that? Simple. You made friends. Roke, Cassius, Leah, Quinn. So did you. Pollux, Cassandra, Vixus. Titus's face contorts horribly. Friends. He spits. Friends with them. Those gold brows. They are monsters. Soulless bastards. Nothing but a bunch of cannibals. All of them. They did the same as I did, but... Groans. I still don't understand why you did what you did to the slaves, I say. Rape, Titus. Rape. His face is quiet and cruel. They did it first. Who? But he's not listening. Suddenly he's telling me about how they took her and raped her in front of him. Then the sluggers came back a week later to do it some more. So he killed them, bashed their heads in. I killed the bloody damn monsters. Now their daughters bloody well get what she got. It's like I've been punched in the face. Oh, hell. A chill spreads through me. Bloody damn. I stumble back. What in the hell is the matter with you? Titus asks. If I were a gold, I might have not noticed. Might have just been befuddled by the odd word. I am no gold. Darrow? I pull my way into the hall. I move in a haze. It all makes sense. The hate, the disgust, the vengeance. Cannibals eat their own. He called them cannibals. Pollux, Cassandra, Vixus. Who are their own golden. Bloody damn. Not gory. Titus said bloody damn. No gold says that. Ever. And he called it a sling blade, not a reaper scythe. Oh, hell. Titus is a red. Chapter 29, Unity. Titus is what Dancer did not want me to become. He's like Harmony. He's a creature of vengeance. A rebellion with Titus at the helm would fail in weeks. Worse, if Titus continues this way, continues unstably, he puts me at risk. Dancer lied, or else he did not know that there are other Reds who've been carved, other Reds who have donned the mask of the gold. How many more are there? How many has Ares planted here in the Society, in the Institute? It doesn't matter if it's 1,000 or just one. Titus's instability puts every Red ever carved into a gold at risk. He puts Yo's dream at risk, and that is something I cannot abide. Yo did not die so that Titus can kill a few kids. I sob in the armory as I resolve what must be done. More blood will stain these hands because Titus is a mad dog and must be put down. In the morning I pull him into the square in front of the house. They clear away the remnants of the night's feast. I even have the slaves there to watch. A few proctors flicker high above. There's no medbot floating beside them, which must stand as their silent consent. I push Titus down on the ground in front of his former tribe. They watch quietly, mist hanging in the air above them, nervous feet scraping the cold cobblestones of the courtyard. A chill seeps into my hands through the durasteel of my sling blade. For crimes of rape, mutilation, and attempted murder of fellow house members, I sentence Titus Auladros to death I list the reasons. Does anyone contest my right to do so? First, I glance to the proctors above. Not one makes a sound. I stare at cruel Vixus. His bruise is not yet gone. My eyes go to Cassandra next. I even look at craggy Pollux, the one who saved Cassius and opened the gates for us. He stands by Roke. How loyalties shift here. How my own shift. I will make a red dye because he killed Golds. He dug the earth like me. He has a soul like mine. In death, it will go to the Veil. But in life, he was stupid and selfish with his grief. He should have been better than this. Reds are better than him, aren't we? Titus's tribe stays silent. Their guilt is bound up with their leader. When he goes, it'll go. That is what I tell myself. Everything will be well. I contest the sentence, Titus says, and issue a challenge to you, turd licker. I accept, Goodman. I bow curtly. Then a duel per custom of the Order of the Sword, Roke announces. I choose then, Titus says, eyeing my sling blade. Straight blades, nothing curved. As you have it, I say. But as I step forward, I feel a hand at my elbow and feel my friend come close behind me. Darrow, he is mine, Cassius whispers coldly. Remember. I make no sign of acknowledgement. Please, Darrow, let me honor House Bellona. Bamatan. I look to Roke. He shakes his head no, as does Quinn, who stands behind Cassius. But I am leader here, and I did promise my friend, who now recognizes my ascendance. He requests instead of demands, and so I make a show of considering and then accepting his request. I stand aside as Cassius steps forward with a straight blade held in his fencer's grip. It is an ugly weapon, but he sharpened it on the stones. The little prince, Titus snickers. Wonderful. I'll be happy to drench your corpse with piss again when we're through. Titus is meant for brawls, meant for muddy battlefields and civil wars. I wonder if he knows how easily he will die today. Roke draws a circle in ash around the two combatants. Clown and Screwface walk out with arms full of weapons. Titus picks a long broadsword he took from a Ceres soldier 5 days before. The metal scrapes over stone, echoes around the courtyard. He swings it once, twice to test the metal. Cassius does not move. Pissing your pants already? Titus asks. No fretting. I'll be quick about it. Roke performs the necessities and commences the fight. Cassius is not quick about it. The ugly blades sound brittle against each other. The clangs are harsh. The blades chip. They grind. But how silent they are when they find flesh. The only sound is Titus's gasp. You killed Julian, Cassius says quietly. Julian au Bellona of House Bellona. He pulls his blade free of Titus's leg and slides it somewhere else. He rips it out. Titus laughs and swings feebly. It is pathetic at this point. You killed Julian. A thrust accompanies the words he repeats until I no longer watch. You killed Julian. But Titus is long dead. Tears stream down Quinn's face. Roke takes her and Leah away. My army is silent. Thistle spits on the cobbles and puts her arm over Pebble's shoulders. Clown looks even more dejected than usual. Even the proctors make no comment. It is Cassius's rage that fills the courtyard, a cruel lament for a kind brother. He said he did it for justice, for the honor of his family and house. But this is revenge, and how hollow it seems. I grow cold. This was meant for me, not for my poor brother Titus, if that was ever really his name. He deserved better than this. I'm going to cry. The anger and sadness well in my chest as I push through the army. Roke looks at me when I pass him. His face is like a corpse's. "That wasn't justice," he murmurs, without looking me in the eyes. I failed the test. He's right. It wasn't justice. Justice is dispassionate. It is fair. I am the leader. I passed the sentence. I should have done it. Instead, I gave license to vengeance and vendetta. The cancer will not be cut away. I made it worse. "At least Cassius is feared again," Roke mutters. "But that's the only thing you got right." Poor Titus. I bury him in a grove near the river. I hope it speeds him on his way to the Vale. That night, I do not sleep. I don't know if it was his wife, or his sister, or his mother they hurt. I do not know what mine he came from. His pain is my own. His pain broke him, as mine broke me on the scaffold. But I was given a second chance. Where was his? I hope his pain fades in death. I did not love him till he was dead, and he should be dead. But he is still my brother, so I pray he finds peace in the Vale, and that I will see him again one day, and will embrace as brothers, as he forgives me for what I did to him, because I did it for a dream, for our people. My name, 3 bars beside it now, floats nearer the Primus hand. Cassius has risen too. But there can only be one Primus. Since I cannot sleep, I take the guard shift from Cassandra. Mist curls around the battlements, so we tie sheep around the walls. They will bleat if an enemy comes. I smell something strange, rich and smoky. Roast duck? I turn and find Fichtner standing beside me. His hair is messy over his narrow brow, and he wears no golden armor today, only a black tunic striped with gold. He hands me a piece of duck. The smell makes my stomach rumble. "We should all be pissed at you," I say. His face is one of surprise. Tots who say that usually mean to explain why they are not pissed. "You and the proctors can see everything, yes? Even when you wipe your ass. You didn't stop Titus because it's all part of the curriculum. The real question is why we did not stop you from killing him." "Yes, little one. He would have been valuable in the military, don't you think? Perhaps not as a praetor with ships in the ink. But what a legate he would have made, leading men in star shells through enemy gates as fire rained down against their pulse shields. Have you ever seen an iron rain, where men are launched from orbit to take cities? He was meant for that." I do not answer. Fitzner wipes grease from his lips with the black sleeve of his tunic. Life is the most effective school ever created. Once upon a time, they made children bow their heads and read books. It would take ages to get anything across. He taps his head. But we have widgets and data pads now. And we golds have the lower colors to do our research. We need not study chemistry or physics. We have computers and others to do that. What we must study is humanity. In order to rule, ours must be the study of political, psychological, and behavioral science. How desperate human beings react to one another, how packs form, how armies function, how things fall apart, and why. You could learn this nowhere else but here. "No, I understand the purpose," I murmur. "I learn more when I make mistakes, so long as they don't kill me." How well I learned from trying to be a martyr. "Good. You make plenty of them. You're an impulsive little turd. But this is the place to frag up, to learn. This is life, but with medbots, second chances, artificial scenarios. You might have guessed that the first test, the passage, was the measurement of necessity versus emotion. The second was tribal strife. Then there was a bit of justice. Now, there will be more tests, more second chances, more lessons learned. How many of us can die? I ask suddenly. Don't worry about that. Mum, how many? There is a limit set each year by the Board of Quality Control, but we're well within the bounds, despite what happened with the jackal. Pfitzner smiles. The jackal? I say. Is that what happened the other night when the Medbots blitzed south? Did I say his name? Oops. He grins. I mean to say that the Medbots are very effective. They heal nearly all wounds, but will they be so effective when Cassius finds out who really killed his brother? My stomach tightens. He already killed Julian's murderer? Apparently, you weren't watching. Of course, of course. Mercury thinks you're brilliant. Apollo thinks you're uppity. He really does not like you, you know. I could give a piss. Oh, you should care much more than that. Apollo's a peach. Right. So what do you think? You are my proctor. I think you are an ancient soul. He watches me and leans against the rampart. The night is misty beyond the castle. From its depths, a wolf howls. I think you're like that beast out there, part of a pack. But deeply sad, deeply alone. And I can't puzzle out why, my dear boy. This is all so much fun. Enjoy it. Life doesn't get better. You're the same, I say. Lonely. You're all japes and snide comments, just like Severo. But it's just a mask. It's because you don't look like the others, isn't it? Or are you poor? Somehow you're an outsider. My looks? He barks a laugh. What does that matter? Think I'm a bronzy because I'm not an Adonis? He leans forward because he really does care about what I'm going to say. You're ugly, and you eat like a pig, Pfitzner. But you chew metabolizers when you could just go to a carver and fix yourself to look like the others. They could take care of that paunch in a second. Pfitzner's jaw muscle flickers. Is it anger? Why should I have to visit a carver? He hisses suddenly. I can kill an obsidian with my bare hands. An obsidian. I can outwit a silver in parlance and negotiation. I can do math greens only dream of. Why should I make myself look any different? Because it is what holds you back. Despite my low birth, I am of note. I am important. His hatchet face dares me to contradict. I am gold. I am a king of man. I do not change to suit others. If that's true, why do you chew metabolizers? He does not answer. And why are you only a proctor? Becoming a proctor is a position of prestige, boy. Pfitzner snaps. The draft has voted me to represent the house. Yet you're no imperator. You lead no fleets. You're not even a praetor in command of a squadron. Nor are you any sort of governor. How many men can do the things you say you can do? Few, he says very quietly, face all anger. Very few. He looks up. What is the bounty you desire for capturing the Minervan standard? Isn't that Severo's deal? I say. Understanding the conversation is nearing its end. He has passed it to you. I ask for horses and weapons and matches. He agrees curtly and turns to leave before I can ask him one last question. I grab his arm as he starts to ascend. Something happens. My nerves fry like needles in acid through my hand and arm. I gasp. My lungs can't function for a second. Gory hell. I cough out and fall to the ground. He wears pulse armor. I can't even see the generator. It's like a pulse shield, but inlaid in the armor itself. He waits without a smile. The jackal, I say. You mentioned him. The Minervan girl mentioned him. Who is he? He's the Arch-Governor's son, Darrow. and he makes Titus look like a blubbering child. Large horses graze in the fields the next morning. Wolves try to take down a small mare. A pale stallion trots up and kicks one of the wolves to death. I claim him. The others call him Quietus. It means the final stroke. He reminds me of the Pegasus that saved Andromeda. The songs we sang in Lycos spoke of horses. I know Io would have liked a chance to ride one. I do not realize, till days later, that when they named my horse Quietus, they were mocking me for my part in Titus's death. Chapter 30. House Diana. A month passes. In the wake of Titus's death, House Mars becomes stronger. The strength comes not from the high drafts, but from the dregs, from my tribe and the mid-drafts. I have outlawed the abuse of slaves. The series Slaves, though still skittish around Vixus and a few of the others, provide our food and fires. They are good for little else. 50 goats and sheep have been gathered in the castle in case of a siege. So too has firewood been stockpiled. But we have no water. The pumps to the washroom shut off after the first day, and we have no buckets to store water inside in case of a siege. I doubt it was an accident. We hammer shields into basins and use helmets to bring water from the river glen below our high castle. We cut down trees and carve them hollow to make troughs in which to store the water. Stones are pulled up and a well is dug, but we cannot dig far enough to get past the mud. Instead, we line the well with stone and timber and try to use it as a tank for water. It always leaks, so we have our troughs, and that is it. We cannot let ourselves be besieged. The keep is cleaner. After seeing what happened to Titus, I asked Cassius to teach me the blade. I'm an unreasonably fast study. I learn with a straight. I never use my sling blade. It already is like part of my body, and the point is not to learn how to use the straight blade, which is much like the razors, but to learn how it will be used against me. I also do not want Cassius to learn how to fight the curved blade. If he ever finds out about Julian, the curve is my only hope. I'm not as proficient in cravat. I can't do the kicks. I learn how to break tracheas, though, and I learn how to properly use my hands. No more windmill punches. No more foolish defense. I am deadly and fast. But I do not like the discipline cravat requires. I want to be an efficient fighter. That is all. Cravat seems intent on teaching me inner peace. That is a lost cause. Yet now I hold my hands like Cassius, like Julian, in the air, elbows at eye level, so I'm always striking or blocking downward. Sometimes Cassius will mention Julian, and I will feel the darkness rise. I think of the proctors watching and laughing about this. I must look like an evil manipulative thing. I forget that Cassius, Roque, Severo, and he are enemies, red and gold. I forget that one day I might have to kill them all. They call me brother, and I cannot but think of them in the same way. The battle with House Minerva has broken down into a series of war-bound skirmishes, neither side gaining enough advantage over the other to ever score a decisive victory. Mustang will not risk the pitched battle that I want, nor can they really be goaded. They're not so easily tempted as my soldiers are to bouts of glory or violence. Still, the Minervans are desperate to capture me. Pax turns into a madman when he sees me. Mustang even tried offering Antonia, or so Antonia claims, a mutual defense compact. 12 horses, 6 stun pikes, and 7 slaves in exchange for me. I don't know if she is lying when she tells me this. You would betray me in a heartbeat if it got you to Primus, I tell her. Yes, she says irritably, as I interrupt her fastidious nail maintenance. But since you expect it, It shan't really be a betrayal, darling. Then why didn't you accept the offer? Oh, the dregs look up to you. It would be disastrous at this point. Maybe after you have failed at something. Yes, maybe then, when the momentum is against you. Or you're waiting for a higher price. Exactly, darling. Neither of us mentions Severo. I know she's still afraid he'll cut her throat if she touches me. He follows me now, wearing his wolf skin. Sometimes he walks. Sometimes he rides a small black mare. He does not like armor. Wolves approach him at random, as though he were one of their own pack. They come to eat deer he kills because they've grown hungry as we lock away the goats and sheep. Pebble always leaves them food at the walls whenever we slaughter a beast. She watches them like a child as they come in 4s and 3s. I killed their pack leader, Severo says when I ask why the wolves follow him. He looks me up and down and flashes me an impish grin from beneath the wolf pelt. Don't worry, I wouldn't fit in your skin. I've given Severo the dregs to command because I know they might be the only people he'll ever like. At first, he ignores them. Then slowly, I begin noticing that more unearthly howls fill the night than before. The others call them the Howlers, and after a few nights under Severo's tutelage, each wears a black wolf cloak. There are 6: Severo, Thistle, Screwface, Clown, Pebble, and Weed. When you look at them, it seems as though each of their passive faces stares out from the open-fanged maw of a wolf. I use them for quiet tasks. Without them, I'm not sure I would still be leader. My soldiers whisper slurs about me as I pass. The old wounds have not healed. I need a victory, but Mustang will not meet in combat, and the 30-meter walls of House Minerva are not as easy to pass as they were initially. In our war room, Severo paces back and forth and calls the game stupidly designed. They had to know we couldn't gory well get past each other's walls, and no one is dumb enough to send out a force they can't afford to lose, especially not Mustang. Pack Smite. He's an idiot. Built like a god, but an idiot, and he wants your balls. I hear you popped one of his. Both. Should just put Pebble or Goblin in a catapult and launch them over the wall, Cassius suggests. Course we'd have to find a catapult. I'm tired of this war with Mustang. Somewhere in the south or west, the Jackal is building his strength. Somewhere my enemy, the Arch-Governor's son, is readying to destroy me. We are looking at this the wrong way, I tell Severo, Quinn, Roke, and Cassius. They're alone with me in the war room. An autumn breeze brings in the smell of dying leaves. Oh, do share your wisdom, Cassius says with a laugh. He's lying on several chairs, his head in Quinn's lap. She plays with his hair. We're dying to hear. This is a school that has existed for what? More than 300 years? So every permutation has been seen. Every problem we face has been designed to be overcome. Severo, you say the fortresses cannot be taken. Well, the proctors have to know that. So that means we have to change the paradigm. We need an alliance. Against whom? Severo asks. Hypothetically, against Minerva, Roke answers. Stupid idea, Severo grunts, and cleans the knife and slides it into his black sleeve. Their castle is tactically inconsequential. No value. None. The land we need is near the river. Think we need Ceres' ovens? Quinn asks. I could do with some bread. We all could. A diet of meat and berries has made us muscle and bones. If the game lasts through the winter, yeah. Severo pops his knuckles. But these fortresses don't break. Stupid game. So we need their bread and their access to the water. We have water, Cassius reminds him. Severo sighs in frustration. We have to leave the castle to get it, Sir Numbnuts. A real siege? We'd last 5 days without replenishing our water. 7 if we drank the animal's blood like Morgdy. We need Ceres' fortress. Also, the harvest pricks can't fight to save their lives, but they have something in there. Harvest pricks? Ha 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 ha, Cassius crows. Stop talking, everyone, I say. And they don't. To them, this is fun. It's a game. They have no urgency, no desperate need. Every moment we waste is a moment that Jackal builds his strength. Something in the way Mustang and Fitzner talked about him scares me. Or is it the fact that he's the son of my enemy? I should want to kill him. Instead, I want to run and hide at the thought of his name. It's a sign of my fading leadership that I have to stand up. Quiet, I say. And finally, they are. We've seen fires on the horizon. War consumes the south where the jackal roams. Cassius chuckles at the idea of the jackal. He thinks I'm a ghost I conjured up. Will you stop laughing at everything? I snap at Cassius. It's not a gory damn joke unless you think your brother died for amusement. That shuts him up. Before we do anything else, I stress, we must eliminate House Minerva and Mustang. Mustang, Mustang, Mustang. I think you just want a snake Mustang. Severo sneers. Quinn makes a sound of objection. I snatch Severo's collar and lift him up into the air with one hand. He tries to dart away, but he's not as fast as me, so he dangles from my grip, 2 feet off the ground. Not again, I say, lowering him nearer my face. Register this, Reap. His beady eyes are inches from my own, off limits. I set him down, and he straightens his collar. So it's to the great woods for this alliance, right? Yes. Then it's to be a merry quest, Cassius declares, sitting up. We'll be a troop. No, just me and Goblin. You aren't going, I say. I'm bored, but I think I'll come with. You're staying, I say. I need you here. Is that an order? He asks. Yes, Severo says. Cassius stares at me. You, giving me orders, he says in a strange way. Perhaps you've forgotten that I go where I want. So you'll leave control to Antonia while we both go risk our necks? I ask. Quinn's hand tightens on his forearm. She thinks I don't notice. Cassius looks back at her and smiles. Of course, Reaper. Of course I'll stay here, just as you've suggested. Severo and I make camp in the southern highlands, within view of the great woods. We do not light a fire. Our scouts and others roam these hills at night. I see 2 horses on a far hill, silhouetted against the setting sun behind the bubble roof. The way the sun catches on the roof makes sunsets of purples and reds and pinks. It reminds me of the streets of Yorkton, as seen from the sky. Then it is gone, and Severo and I sit in darkness. Severo thinks this is a stupid game. Then why do you play it? I ask. How was I to know what it'd be like? Think I got a pamphlet? Did you get a slagging pamphlet? He asks irritably. He's picking his teeth with a bone. Stupid. Yet he seemed to know on the shuttle what the passage was. I tell him that. I didn't. And you seem to have every gory skill required for this school. So, if your mother was good in bed, you suppose she's a pink. Everyone adapts. Lovely, I mutter. He tells me to cut to the point of it. You snuck into the keep and stole our standard and buried it, saving it. And then you managed to steal Minerva's piece. Yet you don't get a single bar of merit for Primus. Doesn't that strike you as odd? No. Be serious. What should I say? I've never been liked. He shrugs. I wasn't born pretty and tall like you and your butt boy, Cassius. I had to fight for what I want. That doesn't make me likable, just makes me a nasty little goblin. I tell him what I've heard. He was the last one drafted. Fitzner didn't want him, but the drafters insisted. Severo watches me in the dark. He doesn't speak. He spits the bone onto the ground. And you killed Julian. Am I on target? We never speak of the passage again. In the morning we leave the highlands behind for the foothills. Trees intersperse with grass. We move at a gallop in case Minerva's war bands are near. I see one in the distance as we reach the trees. They didn't see us. Far to the south, the sky is smoke. Crows gather over the jackal's domain. I would like to say more to Severo. Ask about his life. But his gaze penetrates too deep. I don't want him to ask about me, to see through me, as easily as I saw through Titus. It is strange. This boy likes me. He insults me, but he likes me. Even stranger, I desperately want him to like me. Why? I think it is because I feel as though he's the only one, including Roque and Cassius, who understands life. He is ugly in a world where he should be beautiful. And because of his deficiencies, he was chosen to die. He, in many ways, is no better than a Red. I want to tell him I'm a Red. Some part of me thinks he is too, and some other part of me thinks he'll respect me more if he knows I am a Red. I was not born privileged. I am like him, but I guard my tone. There's no doubt the proctors watch us. Quietus does not like the woods. At first the shrubbery is so thick that we must cut our way forward with our swords. But soon the shrubbery thins, and we enter the realm of god trees. Little else can exist here. The colossuses block the light, their roots stretching up like tentacles to sap the energy from the soil as they grow tall as buildings. I am in a city again, one where animals bustle and tree trunks, instead of metal and concrete, obstruct my view. Then as we venture deeper into the woods, I'm reminded of my mine, dark and cramped beneath the boughs, as though there is no sky or sun. Autumn leaves the size of my chest crinkle underfoot. I know we are being watched. Severo does not like this. He wants to slink away to find the eyes at our backs. That would defeat the purpose, I tell him. That would defeat the purpose, he mocks. We break for a lunch of pillaged olives and goat meat. The eyes in the trees think I'm too stupid to shift my paradigm, as though I would never suppose they'd hide above me instead of on the ground. Yet I don't look up. No need to frighten the idiots or let them know I know their game. I'll have to conquer them soon, if I still am the leader of my house. I wonder if they have ropes to traverse the trees, or are the limbs wide enough? Severo still itches to pull out his knives and scale one of the trees. I shouldn't have brought him. He's not meant for diplomacy. At last, someone chooses to speak at me. "Hello, Mars," one says. Other voices echo it to my right. Stupid children. Should have saved their tricks for the night. It would be miserable in these woods in the dark. Voices coming from all around. Something startles the horses. The goddess Diana's animals are the bear, the boar, and the deer. We brought spears for the first two. There are supposed to be huge bloodbacks in these woods. Monstrous bears made by carvers, because most likely, the carvers grew bored of making deerlings. We hear the bloodbacks roaring in the deeper parts of the wood. I settle Quietus. My name is Darrow, leader of House Mars. I'm here to meet with your Primus, if you have one. If you don't, your leader will suffice. And if you don't have one of those either, take me to whoever has the biggest balls. Silence. "Thank you for your assistance," Severo calls out. I raise an eyebrow at him, and he just shrugs. The silence is silly. It is to make me think they aren't taking orders from me. They do things on their own schedule. What big boys and girls they are. Then two tall girls come from behind a distant tree. They wear fatigues the color of the woods, bows hanging from their backs, knives in their boots. I think one has a knife in her coiled hair. They've used the berries of the woods to paint the hunting moon on their faces. Animal pelts dangle from their belts. I do not look like war. I have washed my hair till it shines. My face is clean, wounds covered, the tears in my black fatigues stitched. I even washed out the sweat stains with sand and animal fat. I look, as Quinn and Leah both confirmed, devilishly handsome. I do not want House Diana intimidated. That's why I let Severo come. He looks ridiculous and childish, so long as his knives are kept away. These two girls smirk at Severo, and can't help but soften their eyes when they see me. More come down. They take most of our weapons, those they can find, and they throw furs over our faces so we cannot know the way to their fortress. I count the steps. Severo counts too. The furs stink of rot. I hear woodpeckers and I remember Fichtner's prank. We must be close. So I stumble and fall to the ground. No shrubbery. We're spun around again, then led away from the woodpeckers. At first, I'm worried that these hunters are smarter than I gave them credit for. Then I realize they are not. Woodpeckers again. Hey, Tamara, we got 'em down here. Don't bring them up, you chowder heads, a girl shouts. We're not letting them have a free scouting party. How many times do I... Just wait. I'll come down. They walk me somewhere and shove me against a tree. A boy speaks over my shoulder. His voice is slow and languid, like a drifting knife blade. I say we peel their balls off. Shut up, Tactus. Just make them slaves, Tamara. There isn't diplomacy here. Look at his blade. Fraggin' Reaper's scythe. Ah, so that's him, someone says. I claim his blade when we decide spoils. I'd also like his scalp if no one else has intentions on it. Tactus sounds like a very unpleasant boy. Shut up, all of you. A girl snaps. Tactus, put that knife away. They take the fur from my head. I stand with Severo in a small grove of trees. I see no castle, but I can hear the woodpeckers. I look around and receive a sharp strike to the head from a lean, wiry youth with bored eyes and bronze hair, spiked up with sap and red berry juice. His skin is dark like oak honey, and his high cheekbones and deep-set eyes give him a look of permanent derision. So, you're who they call the Reaper? Tactus drawls. He swings my blade experimentally. Well, you just look too pretty to be much damage at all. Is he flirting with me? I ask the Tamara girl. Tactus, go away. Thank you, but now go away, says the thin, hawkish girl. Her hair is shorter than mine. 3 large boys flank her. The way they glare at Tactus confirms my judgment of his character. Reaper, why are you with a pygmy? Tactus asks, gesturing to Severo. Does he shine your boots? Pick things out of your hair? He chuckles to the other boys. Maybe a butler? Go away, Tactus, Tamara snarls. Of course. Tactus bows. I shall go play with the other children, mother. He tosses the blade to the ground and winks at me like we alone know the joke that's about to be played. Sorry about that, Tamara says. He's not quite polite. It's fine, I say. I am Tamara of... I almost said my real family. She laughs. Of Diana. And they are? I ask about the boys. My bodyguard, and you are. She holds up a finger. Let me guess. Reaper. Oh, we've heard of you. House Minerva doesn't like you at all. Severo snorts at my infamy. And he is. she asks with raised eyebrows. My bodyguard. Bodyguard? But he's so very short. And you look like... Severo growls. So are wolves, I reply, interrupting Severo mid-curse. They're more afraid of jackals here than wolves. Maybe Cassia should have come along, just to know I'm not making the bastard up. I ask her about the jackal, but she ignores my question. Help me out here, Tamara says cordially. If someone were to say that Reaper of the Butcher House would come to my glade and ask for diplomacy, I would think it a proctor's joke. So what do you really want? House Minerva off my back. So you can come here and fight us instead, one of her bodyguards growls. I turn to Tamara with a reasonable smile and tell her the truth. I want Minerva off my back so I can come here and beat you, sure. And then win the stupid game and destroy your civilization, please. They laugh. Well, you're honest, but not too bright, so it seems. Fitting. Let me tell you something, Reaper. Our proctor says your house has not won in years. Why? Because you butchers are like a wildfire. In the early stages of the game, you burn everything you touch. You destroy, you consume, you ruin houses because you can't sustain yourselves. But then you starve because there is nothing more to burn. The sieges, the winter, the advance in technology, it kills your bloodlust, your famous rage. So tell me, why would I shake hands with a wildfire when I can just sit back and watch it run out of things to consume? I nod and dangle the bait. Fire can be useful. Explain. We may starve while you watch, but will you watch as the slave of some other house? Or will you watch from your strong fortress, your armies twice as large and ready to sweep up the ashes? Not enough. I will personally promise that House Mars will brook no aggression toward House Diana, so long as our agreement is not violated. If you can help me take Minerva, I will help you take Ceres. House Ceres? She says, looking over to her bodyguards. Don't be greedy, I say. If you go after Ceres on your own, both Mars and Minerva will set upon you. Yes, yes. She waves an annoyed hand. Ceres is near? Very. And they have bread. A look at the pelts her men wear, which I imagine would be a nice change from all that meat. Her weight shifts on her toes, and I know I have her. Always negotiate with food. I make a note. Tamara clears her throat. So you were saying I could make my army twice as large. Chapter 31, The Fall of Mustang. I ride dressed for war, all in black, hair wild and bound by goat gut, forearms covered with Durasteel vambraces looted in battle. My Durasteel cuirass is black and light. It'll deflect any edge less than an iron blade or a razor. My boots are muddy. Streaks of black and red go across my face. Sling blade on my back. Knives everywhere. 9 red crossbones and 10 wolves cover Quietus' flank. Leah painted them. Each crossbone is an incapacitated opponent who are often healed by medbots and then thrown back into the fray. Each wolf, a slave. Cassius rides at my side. He shimmers. The Durasteel he received as a bounty is polished as bright as his glimmering sword and his hair, which bounces like coiled golden springs about his regal head. It's as though he's never been stood around and pissed on. Well, I do believe I am the lightning, Cassius declares. And you, my brooding friend, are the thunder. And what am I? Roke asks, kicking his horse up beside us. Mudflies, the wind. You're full enough of it, I snort. The hot sword. The house rides behind us, all of it except Quinn and June, who stay behind as our castle's garrison. It's a gamble. We ride slowly so that Minerva knows we are coming. What they do not know is that I was there in the night just hours before, and that Severo is there now. Mud still sticks underneath my fingernails. Instrumental music plays. Minerva's scouts dart across their rocky hilltops. They make a show of mocking us, but really they count our number to better know our strategy. Yet they seem confused when we ride into their country of high grass and olive trees. So confused that they withdraw their scouts behind their walls. We've never come in full force like this. The Howlers, our scouts, ride in full view on their black horses, black cloaks, fluttering like crow wings. Our high-draft killers move as the vanguard of the main body, cruel Vixus, craggy Pollux, spiteful Cassandra, many of Titus's band. The slaves jog about their owners, those who captured them. I ride forward with Cassius and Antonia flanking me. She carries the standard today. Only a few archers man the walls, so I tell Cassius to make sure we're not ambushed from the flanks in case any of Minerva are about. He gallops away. Minerva's fortress is ringed by 100 meters of barren, earth-made mud from the torrential rains of the last week. It's the killing field. Step into the ring and the archers will try to kill your horse. If you still do not retreat, they will try to kill you. Nearly 20 horses of both houses litter the field. Cassius led a bloody assault on a Minervan warband up to the very gates of the castle itself just 2 days before. Beyond the killing field is grass, oceans of grass, so high in some places that Severo could stand tall and still not be seen. We stand at the edge of the mud ring, amidst a meadow of autumn wildflowers. The ground squishes underfoot, and Quietus whinnies beneath me. "Pax!" I then shout. "Pax!" I hurl the name against the walls until their main gate opens ponderously as it once opened that night. When Cassius and I snuck inside, Mustang rides out. She trots slowly through the mud and pulls short of us. Her eyes take in everything. "Is it to be a duel?" she asks with a grin. "Pax of wise and noble Minerva versus the reaper of the bloody butcher house?" "You make it sound so exciting," Antonia yawns. She's not got a spot of dirt on her. Mustang ignores her. "And you're sure you've no one hiding in that grass waiting to ambush us when we come out to support our champion?" Mustang asks me. "Should we burn it and find out?" "We've brought everyone," Antonia says. "You know our numbers." "Yes, I can count, thank you." Mustang doesn't look at her, just at me. She seems worried. Her voice lowers. "Pax will hurt you." "Pax, how are your balls?" I shout over her head. She winces as a drum beats suddenly from inside the fortress, except it's not a drum. Pax comes out of the gate. His war axe thumps his shield. Mustang shouts him back, and he obeys like a dog. But the beating of the axe on the shield does not cease. We agree that the stakes should be all the remaining slaves between the two of us. A hefty bounty. "I thought Handsome was the duelist," Mustang says, then shrugs. Her eyes keep going to the grass. "Where is that mad fellow?" "Your shadow? The one who leads that wolf pack? Is he hiding in the grass? I don't want him popping up behind me again." I shout for Severo. A hand rises amongst the howlers. Mud covers the faces that peer out from beneath the black wolf cloaks. Mustang counts. All 5 howlers accounted for. In fact, all our forces save one, Quinn, are accounted for. Still, Mustang isn't satisfied. We are to remove our army 600 meters from the edge of the mud ring. She will burn away all the grass within 100 meters of where we now stand. When the grass is done burning, the scorched earth will be the duel field. 10 men of her choosing, will join 10 of my choosing in creating a circle in which to fight. The rest of hers will stay inside the city, and mine will stay 600 meters removed. Don't trust me? I ask. I don't have men in the grass. Good. Then no one will burn. No one burns. When the fire dwindles and the ground is all ash and smoke and mud within the killing field, I leave my army. 10 of mine accompany me. Pax thumps his war axe on a shield emblazoned with a woman's head, her hair all of snakes. Medusa. I've never fought a man with a shield before. His armor is tight and covers everything but his joints. I have to stun pike in the hand I've painted red, and to sling blade in the hand I've painted black. My heart rattles as the circle forms around us. Cassius motions me over. Even in the muted light he glows with color. He shares an ironic smile. Never stop moving. It's like cravat, this. He eyes Pax. And you're faster than this gory bastard, right? I get a wink. He thumps me on the shoulder. Right, brother? Damn right. I return his wink. Thunder and lightning, brother. Thunder and lightning. Pax is built like an obsidian. He's over 7 feet tall, easily, and he moves like a bloody damn panther. In this. Grav, he could throw me 30 meters or more. I wonder how high he can jump. I jump to stretch my legs. Nearly 3 meters. I can easily clear his head. The ground still smokes. Jump, jump, little grasshopper, he grumbles. It'll be the last time you use your legs. What's that? I ask. I said it'll be the last time you use your legs. Odd, I murmur. He blinks at me and frowns. What's odd? You sound like a girl. Did something happen to your balls? You little... Mustang trots up with her standard and says something about girls never challenging each other to stupid duels. The duel is to... Yielding, Pax says impatiently. To the death, I correct. Really, it doesn't matter. I'm just screwing with him at this point. All I have to do is give the signal. To yielding, Mustang confirms. She finishes necessaries, and the duel begins, almost. A series of pops in the sky above signals sonic booms as the proctors come to join us from Olympus. They spin down from their high-floating mountain, coming from several different towers. Each wears his or her sign today, great headpieces of glittering gold. Their armor is a spectacle. They do not need it, but they love to dress up. Today they've brought a table with them. It floats on its own grav lift, supporting huge flagons of wine and trays of food as they set to having a dinner party. I hope we're sufficient entertainment, I cry up. Mind dropping some wine? It's been a while. Good luck against the Titan, little mortal, Mercury cries down. His baby face laughs jovially, and he slowly brings a flagon of wine to his lips. Some of it tumbles the quarter-mile from the sky to fall on my armor. It drips down like blood. I suppose we ought to give them a show, Pax booms. Pax and I share a real grin. It's a compliment of sorts, that they would all come to watch. Then Neptune, her trident headdress wobbling as she swallows a quail egg, shouts for us to get on with it, and Pax's axe sweeps at my legs like an evil broom. I know he wants me to jump because he's about to charge forward with his shield to swat me from the air like a fly. So I step back, then spring forward as his arm finishes its stroke. He's moving too, but upward in anticipation, so I shoot right past his right arm and jab the stone pike into his armpit with all of my strength. It snaps in half, but he doesn't fall even as electricity courses through him. Instead, he backhands me so hard that I fly through the circle and into the mud. Broken molar, mouth full of mud and blood, whiplash. I'm already rolling. I stumble to my feet with my sling blade. Mud covers me. I glance at the walls. Their army rings the parapet. Couldn't help but watch the champions fight. This is the point. I could give the signal. The gates are open in case they have to send aid. Our nearest horseman is 600 meters away, much too far. I planned for that, yet I do not signal. I want my own victory today, even if it's a selfish one. My army has to know why I lead. I come back into the circle. I have nothing clever to say. He's stronger, I'm faster. That's all we've learned about one another. This is not like Cassius's fight. There's no pretty form, only brutality. He bashes me with his shield. I stay close so he can't swing his axe. The shield is ruining my shoulder. Every strike shoots agony into my molar. He lunges with it again, and I jump. Pull on the shield with my left hand and launch myself over him. A knife flickers from my wrist, and I stab it at his eyes as I pass. I miss and scrape his helmet's visor. Putting a little distance between us, I reach for a knife and try a familiar trick. He bats the flying blade away contemptuously with his shield. But when he lowers it to look at me, I'm in the air, landing on his shield with all my weight. The suddenness of it pulls the shield down just a hair. I slam mud into his helmet with my offhand. He's blind. One hand holds the axe, one holds the shield. Neither can wipe his visor clean. It'd be a simple matter if he could just do that, but he can't. I hit him a dozen times on his wrist, till he drops his axe. Then I take the monstrous thing and hit him on the helmet with it. The armor still doesn't break. He almost knocks me unconscious with his shield. I swing the heavy axe again, and finally Pax crumples. I fall to a knee, panting. Then I howl. They all howl. Howls fill the lands of Minerva. Howls from my far distant army. Howls from my 10 high draft killers who helped make this dueling circle. Howls from the killing field. Mustang hears the dread sound behind her, and she wheels her horse. Her face is one of terror. Howls from the laughing proctors except Minerva, Apollo, and Jupiter. Howls from the bellies of the dead horses in the middle of the killing field, the ones near her open gate. "They're in the mud," Mustang shouts. She's almost right, but she thinks like a gold. Someone screams as they see Severo and his howlers cutting their way out of the stitched-up bellies of the dead and bloated horses that litter the mud up to the gate. Like demons being born, they slither from swollen guts and parted stomachs. A half-score of House Diana's best soldiers exit with them. Tactus and his spiked hair burst from the belly of a pale mare. He runs with weed and thistle and clown, all within 50 meters of the ponderously slow gates. The Minervan guards all stand up on the ramparts, watching the duel. They cannot repel the sudden blitz of demon soldiers by closing their slow gates. They hardly manage to knock and draw their bows before Severo, the Howlers, and our allies slip through the closing gate. On the other side of the city, the House Diana's soldiers will be slowly scaling the walls with the ropes they used to climb their silly trees. Yes, the whistle sounds now from the other side. A guard there has seen them. No one will come to help him. My army moves forward, even the fake howlers we borrowed from Diana and dressed up to look like Severo and his band. We destroy House Minerva in minutes. High above, the proctors still howl and laugh. I think they are drunk. It is over before Mustang can do anything except gallop away across the muddy field, through the still smoldering grass. A dozen horses set off in pursuit, Vixus and Cassandra amongst them. She'll be caught before nightfall, and I've seen what Vixus does to prisoners and their ears, so I mount Quietus and set off in pursuit. Mustang abandons her horse at the edge of a small wood to the south. We dismount and leave 3 men to guard the horses in case she doubles back. Cassandra plunges into the woods. Vixus follows me, purposefully stalking as though I might know where Mustang is hiding. I do not like this. I do not like being in the woods with Vixus and Cassandra. All it would take is a blade in the spine. Either would do it. Unlike Pollux, they still hate me, and my howlers and Cassius are far away. Yet no knife comes. I find Mustang by mistake. 2 golden eyes peer out from a pit of mud. They meet mine. Vixus is with me. He swears something about how excited he is to break the gory damn mare, see what she looks like with a bridle on. Standing there, leering into the brush, he looks bent and twisted and evil, like a withered tree after a fire. He has less body fat than anyone I may have ever seen, so each of his veins and tendons ripple beneath his tight skin. His tongue flits over his perfect teeth. I know he's goading me, so I lead him away from the mud pit. Io didn't deserve to die a slave to the society, and despite her color, Mustang doesn't deserve any sort of bridle. Chapter 32. Antonia. I passed this test. The interminable war with House Minerva is done, and I've also trapped House Diana. House Diana had 3 choices before the battle. They could have betrayed me to Minerva and taken my house as slaves, but I had Cassius send pickets to intercept any rider. They could have accepted my proposal, or they could have gone to our castle and tried to take it. I couldn't care less if they chose that option. It was a trap. We left no water inside and could have besieged them easily. Now they have the Minervan fortress, and we are outside in the plains. They could honor their agreement. We would get the standard, they would get the city and all its inhabitants. But I know they'll become greedy, and they do. The gates close and they think they've a strategic bastion. Good. That's why I have Severo inside with them. Smoke plumes soon rise. He destroys the food stores as they enslave the Minervans and guard the walls from my army. Then he fills the wells with feces and hides with his howlers in the cellars. House Diana is not used to this sort of warfare. They've never really left their woods behind. It is hardly any effort to wait them out. 3 days in, and they are apparently still surprised we do not leave. Instead, we camp north and south of the city, with our horses and light bonfires all around, so they cannot slip away in the night. They are thirsty. Their leader, Tamra, does not receive me. She is too embarrassed at being caught in her betrayal. Eventually, on the 4th day, Tamra offers me 10 Minervan slaves and all our enslaved soldiers if I allow her passage home. I send Leah to tell her to go slag herself. Leah giggles like a child when she returns. She flips her hair, grabs my arm, and leans in close to mock Tamra's desperateness. "Have decency," she cries. "Are you not a man of your word?" When they try to break out the 5th night, we capture every last one of them, except Tamra. She fell from her horse and was trampled to death in the mud. Her saddle was cut through underneath. Severo shows me the cleanly severed strip of leather. Tactus? Probably. His mother's a senator, father's a praetor. Severo spits. Met him when we were children. Beat a girl half to death when she wouldn't kiss him on the cheek. Mad bastard. Let it slide, I say. We can't prove anything. Tactus is our slave, as is all of Diana and Minerva, even Pax. I sit with Cassius and Roque atop our horses as we watch our new slaves labor in stacking wood and hay throughout the Minervan fortress. They set a massive blaze, and we 3 toast each other in victory. This will be your last bar of merit, Cassius tells me. That makes you Primus, brother. He pats my shoulder, and I see only a twinge of jealousy in his eyes. Couldn't be a better pick. Lord on high, I never thought I would see this side of our handsome friend, Roque says. Humility, Cassius. Is that truly you? Cassius shrugs. This game is but a year of our lives, maybe less. After that, we have our apprenticeships or academies. After that, we have our lives. I'm only glad that we three were in the same house. Just rewards will be there eventually for all of us. I squeeze his shoulder. Agreed. He's still looking down, unable to meet our eyes till he finds his voice again. I may have lost a brother here. That pain won't fade, but I feel like I've gained 2 more. He looks up fiercely. And I mean that, lads. I gory well mean that. We'll have to do ourselves proud here. Beat some more houses, win the whole damn thing. But my father will need officers for the ships and his armada. If you're interested, that is. House Bologna always needs praetors to make us stronger. He says that last part timidly, as though we'd have something better to do. I grip his shoulder once more and nod, even as Roque says something smart-ass about being a politician, because he'd rather send people to their deaths than go to his own. The Sons of Ares would drool if I became a praetor to House Bologna. And don't worry, Roque. I'll mention your poetry to Father. Cassius laughs. He's always wanted a warrior bard. Of course, Roque embellishes. Be sure to let dear Imperator Bologna know that I'm a master with metaphor and a rogue with assonance. Roque a rogue? Oh God. I laugh as Severo rides up with Quinn and a girl on a type of horse I've not seen before. The girl wears a bag over her head. Quinn announces her as an emissary from House Pluto. Her name is Lilith, and they found her waiting near the edge of the woods. She wishes to speak with Cassius. Lilith was once a moon-faced girl, with cheeks that did smile, but now don't. They are drawn and newly burned, pocked and cruel. She's seen hunger, and there's a coldness to her that I don't recognize. I'm frightened. I feel like Mickey when he looked at me. I was a cold, quiet thing he didn't understand. So was she. It's like looking at a fish from an underground river. Lilith's words come slow and linger in the air. I come from the jackal. Call him by his real name, if you will, I suggest. I did not come to speak with you, she says without a hint of emotion. I came for Cassius. Her horse is small and lean, its hooves nicked. Extra clothing makes her saddle fat. I see no weapons other than a crossbow. They're a mountain house. More clothing for colder climates, smaller horses for harder rides, unless it is deception. I make her show me her ring. It's a mourning tree, the cypress of Pluto. Its roots leak into the ground. 2 of her fingers are gone. Burns sealed the stumps, so they have iron weapons. Her hair clatters when she moves. I don't know why. She looks me over quietly, as though judging me against her master. Apparently, I am lacking. Cassius al Bologna. My master desires the Reaper. She goes on before either of us can say a word. We're too surprised. Alive dead, we don't care. In return for him, you will receive 50 of these for your army. She tosses him 2 iron blades. You can tell your master he should come face me himself, I say. I make no words with dead boys, Lilith says to the air. My master has put the mark on the Reaper. Before winter comes, he will be dead by one hand or another. You can go slag yourself, Cassius replies. She tosses Cassius a small pouch. To help you make your decision. She does not speak again. Quinn raises her eyebrows and shrugs her confusion as she leads Lilith away. I look at the small pouch Cassius holds in his hands. Paranoia overwhelms me. What is inside? Open it, I say. Nah, she's mad as a violet, that one. Cassius laughs. Don't need her to infect us. Yet he tucks the pouch in his boot. I want to scream at him to open it, but I smile as though there is nothing to worry about. Something was wrong in her. Didn't seem human, I say casually. Looked like one of our starved wolves. Cassius gives the iron blade a swing. The air shrieks. At least we got these two. Now I can teach you how to duel properly. These'll go straight through Duro armor. Dangerous things, really. The jackal knows about me. The thought makes me shiver. Roke's words are worse. Did you notice how her hair clattered? He asks. His face is white. Her braids were laced with teeth. We must prepare to meet the jackal's army. That means consolidating my forces and eliminating lingering threats. I need the remainder of House Diana in the Great Woods destroyed, and I need House Ceres. I send Cassius with the Howlers and a dozen horsemen to destroy the remainder of Diana. The rest of my army and slaves I take back to our castle to prepare for the jackal. I've not yet devised a plan, but I'll be ready for him if he rears his head. After sleeping in dead horses, our howlers will probably stink them out of the great woods. Cassius laughs as he spurs his horse away from the main column. I'll sick goblin on them and be back before you're even in bed. Severo does not want to go without me. He doesn't understand why Cassius needs his help to mop up the remainders of Diana. I tell him the truth. Cassius has a pouch in his boot. The one Lilith gave him. I need you to steal it. His eyes do not judge, not even now. There are times when I wonder what I did to earn such loyalty. Then others when I try not to press my luck by looking the gift horse in the mouth. That night, as Cassius lays siege to Diana in the great woods, the rest of my army feasts behind our tall highland walls in Mars Castle. The keep is clean and the square merry. Even the slaves are given June's time-roasted goat and venison drizzled with olive oil. I watch over it all. The slaves look down out of embarrassment as I pass. Even Pax, the howling wolf on his forehead, has crushed his pride. Tactus alone meets my eyes. His dark honey skin is like Quinn's, but his eyes remind me of a pit viper's. He winks at me. After my victory over Pax, my high drafts seem to have finally fully embraced my leadership, even Antonia. It reminds me of how I was treated on the streets after Mickey carved me. I am the gold here. I am the power. It's the first time I felt this way since sentencing Titus to death. Soon Fichtner will come down and give me the Primus hand from the stone, and all will be well. Roke, Quinn, Leah, and now Pollux eat with me. Even Vixus and Cassandra, who normally sit in commune with Antonia, have come to give their congratulations on the victory. They laugh and clap me on the shoulder. Scipio, Antonia's plaything, is counting the many slaves. Antonia herself does not venture my way, but she does tilt her golden head in approval. Miracles do happen. I am Primus. I have 5 golden bars. Soon Fichtner will come to bestow the honorifics. In the morning, House Ceres will fall. They have less than 1/3 our number. With their grain to feed my army and their fortress to use as a base of operations, I will have the power of 4 houses. We will sweep away whatever is left in the north and then descend upon the south before the first snow even falls. Then I will face the jackal. Roke comes to stand beside me as we watch the feast. I've been thinking of kissing Leah, he says suddenly to me. I see her laughing with several mid-drafts near one of the fires. She has cut her hair short and she spares us a glance. coquettishly ducking her head when Roke holds her gaze. He blushes too and looks away. I thought you didn't like her. She follows you about like a puppy. I laugh. Well, yes. At first she didn't intrigue me because I thought she was attaching herself to me as one would to a life raft to stop from sinking. But she's grown. I look over at him and laugh. I can't stop laughing. We look like blonde wolves. We're leaner than when the Institute began, dirtier. Our hair is long. We have scars, me more than most. I'm likely too dependent on red meat. One of my molars is split. But I laugh. I laugh till my molar can't take it anymore. I'd forgotten that we are people, kids who have crushes. Well, don't waste the first kiss, I say. That's my only advice. I tell him to take her somewhere special, take her somewhere here that means something to him or them. I took EO to my drill. Lauren and Barlow made jokes about that. The thing was off and in a ventilated tunnel, so we didn't have to wear fry suit lids, just had to watch for pit vipers. Still, she sweated from excitement, hair clinging to her face, to the nape of her neck. She gripped my wrists so hard, and only let go when she knew she had me. When I kissed her, I grin and slap Roke on the butt for luck. Uncle Nero says it's tradition. He used the flat of a sling blade on me. I think he was lying. I dream of Ayo in the night. I do not often sleep without dreaming of her. The castle's high tower bunk beds are empty. Roke, Leah, Cassius, Severo, the Howlers are gone. Except for Quinn, all my friends are off. I am Primus, yet I feel so alone. The fire crackles. Cold autumn wind comes in. It moans like a wind from the abandoned mine tunnels and makes me think of my wife, Io. I miss her warmth in the bed beside me. I miss her neck. I miss kissing her soft skin, smelling her hair, tasting her mouth as she whispered how she loved me. Then I hear feet, and she fades. Leah panting. Leah bursts through the dormitory door. She talks frantically. I can barely understand her. I stand towering over her and put a hand on her shoulder to calm her. It's impossible. Manic eyes look at me from behind her short-cut hair. Roke, she wails. Roke has fallen into a crevice. His legs are broken. I can't reach him. I follow her so fast. I don't even bring my cloak or sling blade. The castle is asleep, except for the guards. We fly through the gate, forgetting the horses. I shout for one of the guards to come help me. I don't watch to see if she does. Leah runs ahead, guiding me down into the glen, and then up over the northern hills to the Highland Gulch where we made our first fires as a tribe. The mists are thick. The night is dark, and I realize how stupid I am. It's a trap. I stop following Leah. I don't tell her. I don't know if they'll come from behind. So I dive to my belly and shuffle to a gully so that I am lost in the mist. I put ferns over myself. I hear them now, the sound of swords, of feet, and stun pikes, curses. How many are there? Leah calls my name frantically. She is not alone now. She's led me to them. I hear crooked Vixus. I smell Cassandra's flowers. She's always rubbing them on her skin to cover her body odor. Their voices call to each other in the mist. They know I discovered their trap. How can I get back to my army? I dare not move. How many are there? They look for me. If I run, would I make it or would I end up on the end of a sword? I have 2 knives in my boots. That is it. I pull them out. "Oh, Reaper!" Antonia calls from the mist. She's somewhere above me. "Fearless leader. Oh, Reaper, there's no need to hide, darling. We're not mad at you ordering us about like you're our king. We're not indignant enough to bury knives in your eyes. Not at all. Darling." They call taunts, playing on my vanity. I've never had much, but they can't understand that. A boot steps near my head. Green eyes peer through the darkness. I think they see me. They don't. Night optics. Someone gave them night optics. I hear Vixus and Cassandra. Antonia grows frustrated. Reaper, if you do not come out to play, there shall be consequences. She sighs. What consequences, you ask? Why, I will cut little Leah's throat to the bone. I hear a yelp as Leah's hair is seized. Roke's lover. I don't come out. God damn it, I don't come out. My life is more than my own. It is Eo's, my family's. I cannot throw it away, not for my pride, not for Leah, not to avoid the pain of losing another friend. Do they have Roke, too? My jaw aches. I clench my teeth. My molar screams. Antonia won't do it. She can't. Last chance, my darling. No. There's a meaty sound followed by a gurgle and a thump as a body crumples to the ground. Pity. I loose a silent scream as I see the medbot whine through the night's mist. For all the power in my hands, in my body, I'm powerless to stop this, them. I do not move until the early morning when I am sure they are gone. The medbots did not take Leah's body away. The proctors left it so I would know she died, so I could not hold on to hope that somehow she lived. The bastards. Her body is fragile in death, like a little bird that has fallen from the nest. I build a cairn over her. The stones are high, but they will not keep the wolves away. I do not find Roke's body, so I do not know what has become of him. Is my friend dead? I feel a ghost as I pick my way along the highlands, circling around the castle to avoid Antonia's henchmen. I put myself on the path Cassius will take in returning from the great woods, hiding beneath shrubs to stay from sight. It is midday when he returns at the head of a small column of horse and slaves. He kicks his horse forward to greet me as I come from the shrubs. "Brother," he calls, "I brought you a gift." He hops off and gives me a hug before pulling out one of Diana's tapestries and wrapping it about my shoulders. He pulls back from me. "You're as pale as a ghost. What's the matter?" He picks a leaf out of my hair. Maybe that's when he sees the sadness in my eyes. Severo rides up behind him as I tell them what has happened. "That bitch," Cassius murmurs. Severo is silent. Poor Leah. Poor Leah. She was a sweetheart. Do you think Roke is dead? I don't know, I say. I just don't know. Gory dem. Cassius shakes his head. A proctor must have given Antonia night optics, Severo speculates. Or the jackal bribed her. It fits. Who cares about that? Cassius cries, flinging out his arm. Roke may be wounded or dead out there, man. Don't you register? He grips the back of my neck and brings my forehead to his. We'll find him, Darrow. We'll find our brother. I nod, feeling a numbness spreading in my chest. Antonia never returned to our castle. Neither did her henchmen, Vixus and Cassandra. They failed to kill me and must have fled. But to where? Quinn flings her hands up in the air and shouts at us as we come through the gate. I didn't know where the gory blazes anyone was. The slaves outnumbered us 4-1 until you got back. But it's fine. It's fine. She grips Cassius's hand when we tell her what's happened. The tears well in her eyes for Leah, but she refuses to believe Roke is dead. She keeps shaking her head. We can use the slaves to search for Roke. Probably wounded and hiding out there. That's it. That has to be it. We do not find him. The entire army searches, not a sign. We convene in our war room around the long table. He's probably dead at the bottom of a ditch, Severo says that night. I almost hit him, but he's right. The jackal did this, I mutter. Tough shit, he says. Come again? Doesn't matter if he did it, is what Severo means. We can't do anything against the jackal now. Even if he tried to take your life, we're not in a position to hurt him, Quinn declares. Let's deal with our neighbors first. Stupid, Severo mutters. What a surprise. It looks like Goblin disagrees, Cassius snaps. Speak up if you've got something in your craw, pygmy. Don't talk down to me, Severo sneers. Cassius chuckles. Don't piss on my foot, because you only come to my knees. I'm every bit your equal, Buis. The look on Severo's face is such that I lean forward suddenly. Frightened, a knife will suddenly appear in Theseus's eye. My equal? At what? Birth? Cassius grins. Oh, wait. I meant height, looks, intelligence, money. Shall I stop? Quinn kicks his chair hard with her foot. What the hell is your problem? She snaps at him. Never mind. Just shut the hell up. Severo looks at the ground. I have the sudden urge to put a hand on his shoulder. What were you saying, Severo? Quinn asks. Nothing. Come on. He said nothing. Cassius chuckles. Cassius. My voice alone shuts him up. Severo, please. Severo sighs and looks up at me, cheeks flushed with anger. Just thought we should not pick our butts here while the jackal does whatever he wants. He shrugs. Send me south and let me cause trouble. Trouble? Cassius asks. What are you going to do? Kill the jackal? Yes. Severo looks quietly at Cassius. I'll put a dagger in his throat and then carve a hole till I see his spine. The tension is enough to make me uneasy. You can't be serious, Quinn says quietly. He's serious. Cassius's forehead creases, and he's wrong. We're not monsters, not you and I at least, Darrow. Bologna Praetors aren't knives in the night. We have 500 years of honor to guard. Piss and lies. Severo dismisses him with a wave. It's in the breeding. Cassius elevates his nose ever so slightly. Severo's mouth twists cruelly. You're a pixie, if you buy all that. Think your papa cut his way up to Imperator by being honorable? Call it chivalry, goblin, Cassius sneers. It wouldn't be right trying to murder someone in cold blood, particularly not at a school. I agree with Cassius, I say, breaking my silence. Small wonder. Severo stands to leave very suddenly. I ask him where he is going. You obviously don't need me. Have all the advice you can handle. Severo. I'm going to search the ditches again. Bet Bologna wouldn't do that. Wouldn't get his precious knees dirty. He bows mockingly to Cassius before leaving. Quinn, Cassius, and I remain in the war room until Cassius yawns something about catching a bit of REM before the dawn hits in 6 hours. Quinn and I are left alone. Her hair has been cut short and jagged, though the bangs hang just over her narrow eyes. She slouches boyishly in her chair and picks at her nails. What are you thinking on? She asks me. Roke and Leah. I hear the gurgle in my mind. With it echoes all the sounds of death. Eo's pop, Julian's silence as he twitched in his own blood. I am the Reaper, and death is my shadow. Is that all? She asks. I think we should grab some sleep, I reply. She says nothing as she watches me leave. Chapter 33. Apologies. Cassius wakes me in the middle of the night. Severo found Roke, he says. He's a mess. Come. Where? North. They can't move him. We gallop away from the castle, under the light of twin moons. An early winter snow fills the air with dancing flurries. Sucking sounds come from the mud as we head north toward the North Metos. No sounds but the gurgling of the water and the wind in the trees. Wiping sleep from my eyes, I look over to Cassius. He has our 2 iron swords, and suddenly a pit opens in my stomach as I realize what's what. He doesn't know where Roke is, but he knows something else. He knows what I have done. This is a trap I cannot ride away from. I guess there are those times in life. It's like staring at the ground as you fall from a height. Seeing the end coming doesn't mean you can dodge it, fix it, stop it. We ride for 20 more minutes. It was no surprise, Cassius says suddenly. What's that? I've known for over a year that Julian was meant to die. The snow falls silently as we move together through the mud. The hot horse moves between my legs, step by step, through the mud. He made a mess of his test. He was never the brightest, not in the way they wanted. Oh, he was kind and bright with emotions. He could sense sadness or anger a click away. But empathy is a low-color thing. I say nothing. There are feuds that do not change, Darrow. Cats and dogs, ice and fire. Augustus and Bellona. My family and the arch-governors. Cassius's eyes are fixed ahead, even as his horse stumbles and his breath makes fog in the air. But despite what it portended, Julian was excited when he received the acceptance letter stamped with the arch-governor's personal seal. Didn't seem right to me, or my other brothers. Never thought Julian would be the sort to make it in. I loved him. All my brothers and cousins did. But you met him. Oh, you've met him. He wasn't the keenest of mind, but he wasn't the dullest. He wouldn't have been the bottom 1%. No need to cull him from the stock. But he had the name Bellona, a name which our enemy loathes. And so our enemy used bureaucracy, used his title, his duly appointed powers, to murder a kind boy. To turn down an invitation to the Institute is an illegal act. He was so delighted. And we, my mother, and father, and brothers and sisters and cousins, and loved ones, were so hopeful for him. He trained so hard. His voice takes on a mocking tone. But in the end, Julian was fed to the wolves. Or should I say wolf? He pulls his horse to a halt, eyes burning into me. How did you find out? I ask, staring ahead over the dark water. Flakes of snow disappear into the black surface. The mountains are but shadowed mounds in the distance. The river gurgles. I do not dismount. That you did Augustus's dirty work? He laughs scornfully. I trusted you, Darrow, so I did not need to see what the jackal sent me. But when Severo tried to steal it from me, as I slept in the great woods, I knew something was the matter. He notices my reaction. What? You thought you consorted with dullards? Sometimes, yes. Well, I watched it tonight. A hollow. With Roke and Leah, I'd forgotten about the package. Better that I had. Better that I had trusted him and not sent Severo to steal it. Maybe he would have discarded it then. Maybe things would be different. Watched what? I ask. A hollow that shows you killing Julian, brother. The jackal got a hollow? I snort. His proctor gave it to him then. Guess that means the game is rigged. Suppose it doesn't matter to you that the jackal is the arch-governor's son, and that he's manipulating you into getting rid of me. He flinches. Didn't know the jackal was his son, eh? I reckon you'd recognize him if you saw him, and that's why he sent Lilith. I wouldn't recognize him. I've never met the bastard's spawn. He kept them hidden from us before the Institute, and my family kept me from him after. His voice fades, and his eyes sink into a distant memory. We can beat him together, Cassius. We needn't be divided. Because you killed my brother? He spits. "There is no we, you feckless quim. Get off your gory damn horse." I dismount, and Cassius throws me one of the iron swords. I stand facing my friend in the mud. No one to watch but the crows and the moons and the proctors. My sling blade is on the saddle. It at least has a curve, but it's useless against an iron blade. Cassius is going to kill me. I didn't have a choice, I tell him. I hope you know that. "You will rot in hell, you manipulative son of a bitch," he cries. "You allowed me to call you brother." "So what would you have had me do? Should I have let Julian kill me in the passage? Would you?" That freezes him. "It's how you killed him." He's quiet for a moment. "We come as princes, and this school is supposed to teach us to become beasts. But you came a beast." I laugh bitterly. "And what were you when you ripped apart Titus?" "I was not like you," Cassius shouts. "I let you kill him, Cassius, so the house wouldn't remember that a dozen boys took a good long piss on your face. So don't treat me as though I'm some monster." "You are," he sneers. "Oh, shut your goddamned gob, and let's just cut to it, hypocrite." The duel is not long. I have been practicing with him for months. He has played at duels his entire life. The blades echo across the moving river. Snow falls, mud sticks and sloshes. We pant. Breath billows. My arms rattle as the blades clang and scrape. I'm faster than him, more fluid. Almost get his thigh, but he knows the mathematics of this game. With a little flick of his wrists to move my sword sideways, he steps in and drives his iron blade through my armor into my belly. It should cauterize instantly and destroy the nerves, leaving me damaged though alive. But he has the iron charge off, so I only feel a horrible tightness as alien metal slides into my body and warmth gushes out. I forget to breathe, then I gasp. My body shivers, hugs the sword. I smell Cassius' neck. He's close, close as when he used to cup my head and call me brother. His hair is oily. Dignity leaves me, and I begin to whimper like a dog. Throbbing pain blossoms, begins like a pressure. A fullness of metal in my stomach becomes an aching horror. I shudder for breaths, gulp at them, can't breathe. It's like a black hole in my gut. I fall back, moaning. There is pain. That is one thing. This is different. It is terror and fear. My body knows this is how life ends. Then the sword is gone, and the misery begins. Cassius leaves me bleeding and sniveling in the mud. Everything that I am goes away, and I'm a slave to my body. I cry. I become a child again. I curl around the wound. Oh God, it is horrible. I don't understand the pain. It consumes me. I'm no man. I'm a child. Let me die faster. I sink in the cold, cold mud. I shiver and weep. I can't help it. My body does things. It betrays me. The metal went through my guts. My blood goes out. With it go dancers' hopes, my father's sacrifice, Eo's dream. I can hardly think of them. The mud is dark and cold. This hurts so much. Eo, I miss her. I miss home. What was her second gift? I never found out. Her sister never told me. Now I know pain. Nothing is worth this. Nothing. Let me be a slave again. Let me see Eo. Let me die. Just not this. Part 4. Reaper. The elder women of Lycos say that when a man is bitten by a pit viper, all the poison must be drawn out of the bite, for the poison is wicked. When I was bitten, Uncle Nero left some in on purpose. Chapter 20. Puin. The North Woods. There is agony and claustrophobia. I am sick and wounded. The pain is in dreams. It is in darkness, in the pit of my stomach. I wake up and scream into a gentle hand or glimpse someone. Eo, I whisper her name and reach up. My muddy hand smears her face, her angel's face. She's come to take me to the veil. Her hair has turned golden. I always thought she could be golden. Her colors are golden wings. No red sigil on her hands. It took death. I sweat despite the rains and snows that come. Something shelters me. I shiver, clutch my scarlet headband. Lost the hemanthus. When was that again? Mud in my hair. Io washes it away, tenderly strokes my brow. I love her. Something inside me bleeds. I hear Io speak to herself. To someone. I haven't long. Have I time at all? Am I in the veil? There is mist. There is sky and a great tree. Fire. Smoke. I shiver and sweat. Rot in hell, Cassius. I was your friend. I might have killed your brother, but I had no choice. You did. You arrogant slag. I hate him. I hate Augustus. I see them hanging Io together. They mock me. They laugh at me. I hate Antonia. I hate Fichtner. I hate Titus. I hate. I am burning and mad and sweating. I hate the jackal, the proctors. I hate myself for all I've done. All I've done. For what? To win a game? To win a game for someone who will never know about anything I do. Io is dead. It isn't as if she will ever be coming back to see all I have done for her. Dead? Then I wake. The pain is there in my gut. It goes through me, but I no longer sweat. The fever is gone, and the angry red lines of infection have faded. I'm in a cave's mouth. There's a small fire and a sleeping girl just inches away. Furs cover her. She breathes softly at the smoky air. Her hair is tousled and gold. She isn't Io. Mustang. I cry silently. I want Io. Why can't I have her? Why can't I will her back to life? I want Io. I don't want this girl beside me. It aches worse than the wound. I can never fix what happened to Io. I couldn't even run my army. I couldn't win. I couldn't beat Cassius, not to mention the jackal. I was the best hell diver. I'm nothing here. The world is too big and cold. I am too small. The world has forgotten Io. It has already forgotten her sacrifice. There's nothing left. I sleep again. When I wake, Mustang sits by the fire. She knows I'm awake, but lets me pretend otherwise. I lie there with my eyes closed, listening to her hum. It's a song I know. It's the song I hear in my dreams, the echo of my love's death. The song sung by the one they call Persephone, hummed by an Oread, an echo of Io's dream. I weep. If ever I felt there was a God, it is now as I listen to the mournful chords. My wife is dead, but something of hers lingers still. I speak to Mustang the next morning. "Where did you hear that song?" I ask her without sitting up. "From the HC, she says, blushing. A little girl sang it. It's soothing. It's sad. Most things are. It has been 4 weeks, Mustang tells me. Cassius is Primus. Winter has come. Ceres is no longer under siege. Jupiter's soldiers sometimes come into the woods. There are sounds of battle between the two superpowers of the north, Jupiter and Mars. Jupiter to the west, Mars to the east. Since the river froze, they've been able to cross and raid one another. Our buzzards have risen out of their winter gulches. Hungry wolves howl at night. Crows flock from the south. Learn. But Mustang really knows very little, and I grow impatient with her. Keeping you breathing was a little distracting, she reminds me. Her standard lies underneath a blanket near my feet. She's the last of House Minerva, yet unbridled, and she didn't enslave me. "Slaves are stupid," she says, "and you're already a gimp. Why make you stupid too?" It is days before I'm able to walk. I wonder where those nifty medbots are now. Tending someone the proctors like, no doubt. I won Primus, and they never gave it to me. Now I know why the jackal will win. They are getting rid of his competition. Mustang stalks with me through the woods during the next weeks. I move stiffly through the thick snow, but my strength is returning. She credits medicine she found lying conspicuously under a bush. A friendly proctor placed it there. We pause when we spot the deer. I draw the bow, but I can't get the string to my ear. My wound aches. Mustang watches me. I try again, pain deep inside. I let the arrow fly. I miss. We eat leftover rabbit that night. It tastes funny and gives me cramps. I always have cramps now. It's the water, too. We have nothing to boil it in, no iodine, just snow and a little creek to drink from. Sometimes we can't have fire. "You should have killed Cassius or sent him away," Mustang tells me. "Would have thought you nobler than that," I say. I like to win, family trait, and sometimes cheating is in the rule book. She smiles. "You get a merit bar every time you recapture your standard, so I arranged for it to be lost to House Diana by someone else several times, then rode out to capture it. Got to Primus in a week. Tricky. Yet your army liked you," I say. "Everyone likes me. Now eat your damn rabbit. You're skinny as a razor." The winter grows colder. We live in the deep north woods, far north of Ceres, northwest of my former highlands. I have not yet seen a soldier of Mars. I don't know what I would do if I did. "I've hidden from everyone but you," Mustang says. "It keeps me alive and ticking." "What's your plan?" I ask. She laughs at herself. "To be alive and ticking. You're better at it than I am." "How do you mean?" "No one in your house would have betrayed you. Because I didn't rule like you," she says. "You have to remember, people don't like being told what to do. You can treat your friends like servants and they'll love you. But you tell them they're servants and they'll kill you. Anyway, you put too much stock in hierarchy and fear." "Me? Who else? I could spot it a mile away. All you care about was your mission, whatever it is. You're like a driven arrow with a very depressing shadow. First time I met you, I knew you'd cut my throat to get whatever it is you want." She waits for a moment. "What is it that you want, by the way?" "To win," I say. "Oh, please, you're not that simple." "You think you know me?" The coals crackle in our small fire. "I know you cry in your sleep for a girl named Io. Sister? Or a girl you loved? It's a very off-color name, like yours." "I'm a far planet, Acid. Didn't they tell you?" "They wouldn't tell me anything. I don't get out much. Strict father." She waves a hand. "Anyway, it doesn't matter. All that matters is that no one trusts you because it's obvious you care more about your goal than you do about them. And you're something different." "Oh, very much so, Sir Reaper. I like people more than you do. You are the wolf that howls and bites. I am the Mustang that nuzzles the hand. People know they can work with me. With you? Hell, kill or be killed." She's right. When I had a tribe, I did it right. I made every boy and girl love me, made them earn their keep. I taught them how to kill a goat, as if I knew how. I gave them fire, as if I had created the matches. I shared a secret with them, that we had food, and Titus didn't. They saw me as their father. I remember it in their eyes, When Titus was alive, I was a symbol of goodness and hope. Then when he died, I became him. Sometimes I forget that the Institute is meant to teach me things, I say to Mustang. The golden girl tilts her head at me. Like how we must live for more? Her words strike my heart. They echo through time from another's lips. Live for more. More than power. More than vengeance. More than what we're given. I must learn better than them, not simply beat them. That is how I will help Reds. I am a boy. I am foolish. But if I learn to become a leader, I can be more than an agent of the sons of Ares. I can give my people a future. That is what Ea wanted. Deep winter, the wolves are hungry now. They howl in the night. When Mustang and I make a kill, we sometimes have to scare them off. But when we kill a caribou at dusk, a pack descends from the Northlands. They come from the trees like dark specters, shadows. The biggest of them is my size. His fur is white. The fur of the others is gray, no longer black. These wolves change with the season. I watch how they surround us. Each moves with individual cunning, yet each moves as part of the pack. This is how we should fight, I whisper to Mustang as we watch the wolves approach. Could we talk about this later? We take down the pack leader with 3 arrows. The rest flee. Mustang and I set to skimming the big white brute. As she slips her knife along beneath the fur, she looks up, nose red from the cold. Slaves aren't part of the pack, so we can't fight like them. Not that it matters. The wolves don't have it right either. They take too much from their pack leader. Cut off the head, the body retreats. So the answer is autonomy, I say. Maybe. She bites her lip. Later that night, she elaborates. It's like a hand. She sits close and cozy, leg touching mine. Close enough for guilt to crawl along my spine. The caribou roasts, filling the cave with a cozy, thick aroma. A blizzard rages outside, and the wolf fur dries over the fire. Give me your hand, she says. Which is your best finger? They are all better at different things. Don't be obstinate. I tell her my thumb. She has me try to hold a stick with only my thumb. She easily pulls it from my grasp. Then she has me hold it without my thumb and only the other fingers. With a twist, the stick is free. Imagine that your thumb is your house members. The fingers are all the slaves you have conquered. The primus, or whoever, is the brain. It all works pretty gory seamlessly. Yeah? She can't pull the stick from my grip. I set it down and ask her the point. Now try to do something beyond simply grabbing the standard. Just move your thumb counterclockwise and your fingers clockwise, except your middle. I do it. She stares at my hands and laughs incredulously. Ass. I ruined her demonstration. Helldivers are dexterous. I watch her hands as she tries to do it too. Of course she fails. I understand. A hand is like the society, I say. It is the structure of the armies at the Institute. The hierarchy is good for simple tasks. Some fingers are more important than others. Some are better at certain things. All fingers are controlled by the highest order, the brain. The brain's control is effective. It makes your thumb and fingers work together. But the single brain's control is limited. Imagine each one of the fingers had a brain of its own that interacted with the main brain. The fingers obey, but they function independently. What could the hand do then? What could an army do? I twirl the stick along my fingers in intricate patterns. Exactly. Her eyes linger on mine, and her fingers trace along my palm as she explains. I know she wants me to react to her touch, but I force my mind to be lost on other things. This idea of hers isn't part of the proctor's lesson. Their lesson is about the evolution from anarchy to order. It is about control, about the systematic accumulation of power, the structure of that power, and then its preservation. It is a model to show that the rule of hierarchies is the best. The society is the final evolution, the only answer. She just slagged that rule, or at least showed its limitations. If I could earn the voluntary allegiance of the slaves, the army created would look nothing like the society. It would be better. Like if the Reds of Lycos thought they could actually win the laurel, they would be so much more productive. Or if a praetor on board his star cruiser could utilize not only his own genius, but that of his crew of blues. Mustang's strategy is Ia's dream. It's like an electric shock jolts through me. Why didn't you try it with the slaves you captured? She pulls her hand away from mine after I don't respond to her touch. I tried. She is quiet the rest of the night. Near morning, she develops a cough. Mustang takes sick over the next few days. I hear fluid in her lungs and feed her broth made from marrow and wolf and leaves boiled in a helmet I found. She looks like she will die. I don't know what to do. We're low on food, so I hunt. But the game is scarce and the wolves are hungry. Prey has fled these woods, so we survive on small hares. All I can do is keep her warm and pray a medbot descends from the clouds. The proctors know where we are. They always know where we are. I find human tracks in the woods the next week, a set of 2. I follow them to an abandoned campsite, hoping they might have food I can steal. There are animal bones and embers, still hot. No horses, though. Probably not scouts, then. Oath breakers, ashamed to have broken their vows after being enslaved. There's plenty of them now. I follow their tracks through the woods for an hour before I grow worried. They circle back around, leading somewhere familiar, leading to our cave. It is night by the time I return. I hear laughter from the home I share with Mustang. The arrow feels thin in my fingers as I knock it on the bowstring. I should kneel to gather my breath. My wound aches. I pant, but I can't give them more time. Not if they have Mustang. They cannot see me as I stand at the edge of the frozen caribou skin and hard-packed snow that walls off our cave from sight and elements. The fire crackles inside. Smoke seeps out through vents. Mustang and I took a day in making. 2 boys sit together eating what's left of our meat, drinking our water. They are dirty and ragged, hair like greased weeds, stained complexions, black heads, once beautiful, I'm sure. 1 boy sits on Mustang's chest. The girl who saved my life is gagged and in her undergarments. She shivers from the cold. One of the boys bleeds from a bite wound on his neck. They are planning on making her pay for that wound. Knives heat red in the fire. 1 boy obviously enjoys the sight of her nakedness. He reaches to touch her skin as though she's a toy meant for his pleasure. My thoughts are primal, wolf-like. A terrifying emotion sweeps over me, one that I did not know I had for this girl. Not till now. It takes a moment to calm myself and stop my hands from shaking. His hand is on the inside of her thigh. I shoot the first boy in the kneecap. The second I shoot as he reaches for a knife. I'm a bad aim. I get his shoulder instead of his eye socket. I slide into the shelter with my skinning knife, ready to finish the boys off as they howl in pain. Something in me, the human part, has turned off, and it's only when I see Mustang's eyes that I stop. "Darrow," she says softly. Even shivering, she is beautiful. The small, quick-smiling girl who brought me back to life. The bright-eyed soul who keeps Eo's song alive. I shudder with anger. If I had been 10 minutes later in returning, this night could have broken me forever. I cannot bear another death, especially not Mustangs. Darrow, let them live, she says again, whispering it to me as Eo would whisper she loved me. It cuts to my core. I can't take the sound of her voice, the anger inside me. My mouth doesn't work. My face is numb. I can't lose the grimace of rage that controls it. I drag the two boys out by their hair and kick them till Mustang joins us. I leave them moaning in the snow and return to help her dress. She feels so fragile as I pull her animal skins around her bony shoulders. Knife or snow? She asks the boys when she's dressed. She holds the knives heated in the fire in her trembling hands. She coughs. I know what she's thinking. Let them go and they kill us as we sleep. Neither will die from their wounds. The medbots would come, if that were the case. Or maybe they won't for Oathbreakers. They choose snow. I'm glad. Mustang didn't want to use the knife. We tie them to a tree at the edge of the woods and light a signal fire so that some house will find them. Mustang insisted on coming along, coughing all the way, as if she were worried I wouldn't do as she asked. She was right to think that. In the night after Mustang has gone to sleep, I get up to go back and kill the Oathbreakers. If Jupiter or Mars finds them, then they will spill where we are and we will be taken. Don't, Darrow, she says as I pull back the caribou skin. I turn. Her face peers out from our blankets. We will have to move if they live, I say. And you're already sick. You'll die. We have warmth here, shelter. Then we will move in the morning, she says. I'm tougher than I look. Sometimes that is true. This time, it is not. I wake in the morning to find that she shifted in the night to curl into me for warmth. Her body is so frail. It trembles like a leaf in the wind. I smell her hair. She breathes softly. Salt tracks mark her face. I want Eo. I wish it were her hair, her warmth. But I don't push Mustang away. There's pain when I hold her, but it comes from the past, not from Mustang. She is something new, something hopeful, like spring to my deep winter. When morning comes, we move deeper into the woods and make a lean-to shelter against a rock face with fallen trees and packed snow. We never found out what happened to the Oathbreakers or our cave. Mustang can barely sleep. She coughs so much. When she sleeps curled into me, I kiss the nape of her neck softly, softly, so that she will not wake, though I secretly wish she would, if just to know that I'm here. Her skin is hot. I hum the song of Persephone. I can never remember the words, she whispers to me. Her head lies in my lap tonight. I wish I did. I have not sung since Lycos. My voice is raspy and raw. Slowly, the song comes. Listen, listen. Remember the wane of sun's fury and waving grain? We fell and danced along to croon a knell of rights and wrongs. And my son. Remember the bairn, when leaves were fire and seasons turned. We fell and sang a song, to weave a cell all autumn long, and down in the vale. Hear the reaper swing, the reaper swing, the reaper swing. Down in the vale, hear the reaper sing a tale of winter long. My girl, remember the chill when rains froze and snows did kill? We fell and danced along through icy hell to their winter song. My love, my love. Remember the cries when winter died for spring skies? They roared and roared, but we grabbed our seed and sowed a song against their greed. My son, my son. Remember the chains when gold ruled with iron reins? We roared and twisted and screamed for ours the veil of better dreams. And down in the vale hear the reaper swing, the reaper swing, the reaper swing. Down in the vale, hear the reaper sing a tale of winter done. It is strange, she says. What is? Father told me that there would be riots because of that song, that people would die. But it is such a soft melody. She coughs blood into her pelt. We used to sing songs by the campfire out in the country, where he kept us out of, coughs again, of the public eye. When my brother died, Father never sang with me again. She will soon die. It's only a matter of time. Her face is pale. Her smile is feeble. There's only one thing I can do since the medbots haven't come. I will have to leave her to seek out medicine. One of the houses might have found some more received injectables as a bounty. I'll have to go soon, but I need to get her food first. Someone follows me that day as I hunt alone in the winter woods. I wear my new white wolf cloak. They are camouflaged as well. I do not see whoever it is, but he is there. I pretend my bowstring needs fixing and steal a glance back. Nothing. Quiet. Snow. The sound of wind on brittle branches. They still follow as I move along. I feel them behind me. It's like the ache in my body from my wound. I pretend to see a deer and pass quickly through a thicket, only to scramble up a tall pine on the other side. I hear a pop. They pass beneath me. I feel it on my skin, in my bones. So I shake the branches under my legs. Gathered snow tumbles down. A distorted hollow in the shape of a man forms in the snowfall. It is looking at me. "Fichtner," I call down. His bubblegum pops again. "You may come down now, boyo," Fichtner barks up. He deactivates his ghost cloak and grav boots and sinks into the snow. He's wearing a thin black thermal. My layered fatigues and stinking animal skins don't keep me half as warm. It's been weeks since I last saw him. He looks tired. "Going to finish what Cassius started?" I ask as I hop down. He looks me over and smirks. "You look horrible." "You do too. The soft bed, warm food and wine giving you trouble." I point up. We could just barely see Olympus between the skeletal branches of the winter trees. He smiles. "Readout says you've lost 20 pounds. "Baby fat," I tell him. Cassius's ion sword carved it off. I pull up my bow and point it at him. I wonder if he's wearing a pulse shield. It'll stop anything short of pulse weapons and razors. Only recoil plate can guard off those weapons, and even then, not well. "I should shoot you." "You wouldn't dare. I'm a proctor, boyo. But I shoot him in the thigh, except the arrow loses velocity before it hits the invisible pulse shield, which flickers iridescent, and the arrow bounces to the ground. So they wear it at all times, even when they don't wear recoil armor. Well, that was petulant. He yawns. Pulse shield, grav boots, ghost cloak. Looks like he has a pulse fist, too, and those famous razors. Snow melts as it touches his skin. He saw me in the tree, so I'm guessing his eyes have injected optics. Certainly, thermal scopes and night vision. He has a widget and an analyzer mod, too. He knew my weight. Probably knows my white blood cell count. What about spectrum analysis? He yawns again. Little sleep these days on Olympus. Busy days. "Who gave the jackal the hollow of me killing Julian?" I ask. "Well, you don't dally away, time." He did something just as I spoke, and the sound around us localizes. I can't hear anything beyond an invisible 5-meter bubble. Didn't know they had toys like that. The proctors gave it to the jackal, he tells me. Which ones? Apollo. All of us. Doesn't matter. I don't understand. I assume it's because they favor the jackal. Am I right? As usual. His gum pops. Unfortunately, you're just not allowed to win, and you were gaining momentum, so I ask him to explain. He says he just did. His eyes are ringed and tired despite the collagen and cosmetics he now wears to cover his fatigue. His stomach has grown, arms are still skinny. Something worries him, and it isn't just his appearance. Allowed to, I echo. Allowed to? No one can be allowed to win. I thought the gory damn point was to carve our own ladder to the top. So if I'm not allowed to win, that means that Jackal is. Pegged it. He doesn't sound very happy. Then that doesn't make any lick of sense. It corrupts the entire thing, I say hotly. You broke the rules. The best of gold is supposed to rise, yet they already have chosen a winner. Not only does this ruin the Institute, it ruins the society. The fittest reign, that's what they say. Now they've betrayed their own principles by taking sides in a schoolyard fight. This is the Laurel all over again. Hypocrisy. So this kid is what? A predestined Alexander? A Caesar? A Genghis? A Wigan? I ask. This is slaggin' nonsense. Adrius is the son of our dear Arch-Governor Augustus. That's all that matters. Yes, you've told me that. But why is he supposed to win? Simply because his father is important? Unfortunately, yes. Be more specific, he sighs. The Arch-Governor has secretly threatened and bribed and cajoled all 12 of us till we came to agree upon the fact that his son should win. But we have to be careful in our cheating. The drafters, my real bosses, watch every move from their palaces, ships, etc. They are very important people as well. And then there's the Board of Quality Control to worry about, and the sovereign, and senators, and all the other governors themselves. Because though there are many schools, any of them can watch you whenever they like. What? How? He taps my wolf ring. Biometric nanocam. Don't worry, it's showing them something else right now. I threw down a jam field, and anyway, there's a half-day delay for editing purposes. All other times, any drafter, any scade can watch you to see if they would like to offer you an apprenticeship when this is over. Oh, do they like you? Thousands of Oreads have been watching me. My insides, already cold, tighten. Demetrius Au Bellona, Imperator of the 6th Fleet, father of Cassius and Julian, drafter of House Mars, has watched me kill one son and deceive the other. It takes the wind out of me. What if I had told Titus that I knew he was a Red because I was a Red? Did they notice him say, "Bloody damn"? Did I say he was a Red out loud? Or was that just in my head? What if I take the ring off? Then you disappear, except for the cameras we have hidden in the battlefield. He winks. Don't tell anyone. Now if the drafters discover the Arch-Governor's scheme, there will be hell to pay. Tension between the schoolhouses, certainly. But more importantly, there could be a blood war between the Augustuses and Bellonas. And you'll be in trouble if they find out about the bribery. I'll be dead. He fails in trying a smile.